Ciao guys and welcome back, it's your friend Luca, and in today's video I'm gonna share my experience with the Lumix S f1.8 prime lenses. Very sweet lenses that I've recently bought, but it seems like they all share one optical compromise that nobody is really talking about it. This problem is not really a major problem and you shouldn't really worry about it unless you're going to film in Blackmagic RAW or Apple ProRes RAW. For the rest, these lenses are working very well and I'm actually happy to using them for some type of projects where I need to travel lightweight and with lenses that are very compact, and they perform quite well. My experience is based on the 35, 50 and 85mm f1.8, but it might be the same for the 18 and 24mm f1.8. I never use those lenses, so if you own those lenses and you're seeing the same optical compromise, please feel free to write down in the comment area below so the L-mount community can have a better idea of what to expect from these lenses. To be completely transparent, I'm left just with the 35 and the 50mm f1.8, and I have recently returned the 85mm f1.8 because I wasn't really happy with the performances of that lens, especially because of the slow autofocus and also because of some very strong chromatic aberrations I was seeing in the images I was taking. Let's first talk about the positive aspects of these lenses and why I bought them on the first place. These lenses are all small, lightweight, they all share a 67mm filter thread, and they're also weather sealed. So for me, that I travel a lot around Europe for corporate gigs, these lenses are making a lot of sense. For video work, these lenses have a nice image quality, they are not super sharp if you use them wide open at f1.8, and they all suffer a bit from a slight amount of chromatic aberrations that helps a little bit to smooth out the skin of the talent you're filming in front of the camera. So for corporate videos, when I have to film interviews and b-rolls, these lenses are performing quite well. Talking about photography, these lenses are performing quite well, especially for portraits, in case you don't care much about distortion and a weird rendering of the bokeh. For the rest, these lenses are performing quite well. On the other side, I wouldn't pick these lenses for landscape photography because of the strong distortion that will render unsharp corners almost at any f-stop, but I will also not use them for product photography because of the amount of chromatic aberrations. All in all, considering the size, weight and the image quality produced by these lenses, I have to say that these lenses are very nice, and even if last week I said something about selling these lenses, I would probably still keep the 35 and the 50mm f1.8 just for family photography, because soon the second child is gonna join the family, and I already know for experience that I cannot have two hands free to manual focus with the left hand. So I will keep these lenses just for the autofocus, and maybe later on I will sell them because I enjoy more to use vintage lenses both for photography and for videography. Now, talking about autofocus, these lenses are working very well for photography, except on a low light situation when you have to increase the ISO of your camera to around 32 to 6400 ISO, but for the rest, the autofocus for photography, especially the single point autofocus, is working very well. I use it a lot during event photography, and I can complain maybe a couple of times during a full evening of shooting, but for the rest they are totally usable. And in case the autofocus is not really working well because the scene is too dark, I can always switch to manual focus and then I can grab focus by myself in an easy way. Talking about the video autofocus performances with these Lumix S primes, I would say that the autofocus is performing like a nice piece of garbage. My experience is based on the old Lumix S5 and S1, where we have a depth to defocus algorithm, so we don't have a PDIF sensor on these old cameras, and the autofocus performances is just terrible. A couple of days ago I filmed a video with a 35mm f1.8, and even if I confirmed the subject tracking with the joystick or with the touchscreen, the background was pulsing quite a lot and it was very distracting, so I really had to trash that footage. I gave these prime lenses a try, but this is the safest solution with the Zeiss manual focus lens set there, and here I'm sure that the focus is going to be good, hopefully. we will see it in post. I'm probably the only content creator that never touched the Lumix S5 II, so I have no idea how the autofocus performance is working with those cameras. But in case one day I'm gonna rent one of these cameras, I will write an update in the description where I share my opinion about the autofocus performances with the newer cameras. But for now, I can say that the autofocus performances with the old cameras, it's pure garbage. Now, if you're curious to know what is the problem I was talking about at the beginning of the video, I'm talking about the focus breathing problem. Because yes, you're not crazy if you were complaining about these lenses that you see focus breathing, because these lenses have pretty strong focus breathing in a weird way. So it's not focus breathing that is going to be compensated with a crop in the camera. These lenses are warping from barrel distortion to pincushion distortion. And because from now on I will just film everything Blackmagic RAW, I cannot really go crazy adjusting this variable barrel and pincushion distortion that is going to happen at different focal range. So these lenses are not going to work well if you're going to film Blackmagic RAW or Apple ProRes RAW. But in case you are not interested on those codecs, these lenses are working very well. Talking for myself, I see this distortion compensation happening both in photos and videos, even if I don't film in Blackmagic RAW. But in reality, I don't really mind. It's not a big deal for some type of projects. But in case you're going to get hired for a production and you're going to be the DP and you want to bring these lenses, maybe think twice about it, because in my opinion these lenses are not suitable for mid to high budget productions. So anything above 10k I would bring cinema lenses or something more professional than these Lumix S primes. But for the rest, these lenses are working quite well. Anyway, let me know what do you think about it. Maybe I'm overlooking on this focus breathing compensation, but because I'm a little bit spoiled with good glass made in Germany, this is something that I notice and I'm not sure I can live with. I will probably think more about it, also because I recently added the Sigma 24-70 f2.8 in my kit, and that lens is pretty spectacular. So I might sell these lenses at one point and stick just with the 24-70 f2.8 from Sigma for everyday shooting when I don't want to bring manual lenses with me. Actually, soon I will make a video review about this Sigma 24-70 f2.8. So if you are interested to see that video review coming next month or in January, maybe consider to subscribe so you'll be updated when I publish that video. And just to be sure I deliver the right message to all of you, I'm not saying that these lenses are bad and you shouldn't consider them, because these lenses are actually pretty nice, they are convenient, but obviously they are modern and they have some compromises to keep the size and weight small and lightweight for all of us that we like to travel in a very chill way. There is actually another funny discovery that I did about these prime lenses, because if you don't know, these 35 and 50mm from Lumix are sharing the same optical design as the Leica S 35 and 50mm Summicron for Leica SL cameras. So what I found out is that these lenses are having the same issue of the focus breathing compensation. So if you're wondering that the solution to this problem is to buy just those Leica lenses, let me tell you right away that that's not the solution, because they are having the same issue. And if you're looking for the perfect set of prime lenses for the L mount, the only way to go is to buy the Leica Apo Summicron, that are kind of pricey, but they have an outstanding image quality. I don't think I ever used better lens than those, even if they are a little bit contrasty because they are designed for photography, but those lenses are very beautiful and perfect. I hope that you enjoyed this honest feedback about the Lumix S primes, and if you did it, consider to like and subscribe to save the ship that is slowly sinking. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.